After a year of trying to explain the principle of headship, I've discovered 3 lies the devil has used to make it the word that must not be named. Let's expose the lies so that we can properly understand headship and then build fulfilling lives. The first lie of the devil is that men and women are the same. Just like these 2 dominoes, but really, men and women are more like this. These dominoes are equal, but different in color and now orientation. If I just had vertical blue dominoes, I can't make much. But with different colors and different orientations, we can create more interesting and more beautiful structures. These dominoes are almost interchangeable, but God wisely designed men and women so they are equal and not interchangeable. The devil's lies try to blur the differences, but that leaves people feeling lost, alone, and overwhelmed. But we can regain purpose by answering this question: why did God make men and women different? And why does the devil fight so hard to erase the differences? Genesis chapters 1 through 3, in the beginning of the Bible, tell us why. God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. God said unto them, replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion. Men and women were both made in the image of God. Together they were to be productive, and together have dominion over the world. And together they could display the glory of God. But to accomplish this mission, God designed Adam and Eve differently, according to their different roles and responsibilities. And the Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And the Lord God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. Adam was supposed to guard and take care of the garden. That included protecting and providing for his wife who lived there. Eve was supposed to support Adam in fulfilling his responsibilities. Because they were different, Adam and Eve could display headship in marriage. Each could use their strengths to fulfill the needs of the other. They could not do this if they were identical. In a marriage with headship, the woman is given an environment where she can thrive, one of love and security. And the man is called to the role he was designed for, one of purpose and respect. But for women to have love and security, and men to have purpose and respect in marriage, then the husband needs to lead, and the wife needs to respect his leadership. If the roles are reversed, the husband will lose the sense of purpose and respect in the home. He will look for it elsewhere, and the wife will feel the lack of love and security. Here the devil whispers his second lie into the ear of every Eve. Submission is for the weak. Don't be a doormat. Take the lead. You don't need the man. You can do anything he can do, and better. If the devil is right, why does God command submission? Why does the Bible say, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God? You younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands. Submit yourselves, therefore, to God. This is what most people think of when they think of authority and submission. But this is what it really is. The purpose of authority is not to lord over people for the advancement of the guy at the top. Authority is supposed to be used to ensure that the needs of everyone are being met. Think of a classroom without a teacher. Not much education happening there. But if there was a teacher, and she is responsible to teach, she would need authority to maintain order so that she can teach. And the children would need to submit to her authority if they're going to learn anything. Submission to authority is meant for the benefit, for the uplifting of those submitting. Submission is not a passive or slavish activity. Submission means being actively engaged in the mission. It requires thought and passion to be done well. If Eve was really going to help Adam rule the world, then she would need to share with him her thoughts and perspectives and ideas so that he could make the best decisions possible and set the best possible direction. Before we look at the devil's third lie, which is the one that causes the most damage, let's learn about submission from the example of Jesus Christ, who, being in the form of God, thought it not robbery thought it not a thing to be grasped at, to be equal with God, and took upon him the form of a servant. He humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. And the result of his submission, he shall see of the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied. Submission is not for nothing. But what about the danger of being abused, oppressed, and mistreated? There are so many news stories and personal stories about just that. Unfortunately, the devil also lies to people in power. His third lie says, use your authority to get what you want. You have earned it. Well, let's talk about that. Does God really put bad people in positions of power so they can do whatever they want? Of course not. Romans 13 tells us that all power comes from God and is supposed to be used for the good of others. But here's the problem. Every human has the same basic nature. We are all motivated by selfishness, which is expressed in pride and lust. So if you give anyone power, whether through position, money, or fame, they will naturally use it for selfish interests. That's why you hear the expression, power corrupts. But in reality, power doesn't corrupt. It just enables our selfish nature to reveal itself more clearly. So how does God stop every husband and every teacher and every president from becoming a dictator? Accountability and love. Every sphere of authority on earth is accountable to the one above it, and ultimately to God. God will judge everyone regarding how well they fulfill their responsibility with the authority given to them. This is true in governments that have federal, local, and family levels, and in churches that have elders overseeing the local assembly and specific roles for men and women, and in marriage and family with the husband, wife, and children. Here are some verses regarding the responsibilities of those in power that you may find helpful to look at in your own time. For someone in a position of power to use their authority well, they must love the people they are over. This is what God says to husbands. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, even as the Lord the church. Let every one of you, in particular, so love his wife, even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband. What a contrast from many marriages today, where abusive husbands use intimidation to get their own way, and wives, rather than submitting, use emotional manipulation to get what they want. That is exactly what headship is meant to protect against. Now watch how beautifully headship comes together. This applies to marriage, churches, governments, and business. The head, the person in charge, is given authority so he can take care of the body, the people under him. He must sacrifice his own desires and interests for the good of the body. He must make challenging, unpopular decisions if necessary. And he will be judged by God for how well he does. He does all this because he loves the body. The body submits to the head because the body knows the head is working and sacrificing for the good of everyone. The body knows that they will achieve more by working together than separate. The body receives protection, provision, and love. The head receives respect. Let me know if you think it's easier to be the head or the body. Headship is hard work, but it is worth getting right. Unfortunately, it is challenging for both the head and the body to fulfill their responsibilities because our selfish, proud human natures do not want to sacrifice in love or submit to authority. The good news is that it is much easier to implement headship when the head and the body have both submitted to God and, as children of God, have the divine nature of love. Headship is just the beginning of God's wise plan for us. Watch this video to discover more about God's plan and his specific will for your life.